This is Visual Disturbance, back here once again. Thank you all so very much for communicating with me and joining me for a little hospitality on the Visual Disturbance channel. Welcome all walks of life. Thank you all so very much, and let's go ahead and jump into it. It's been a little while since I've done a live stream, and y'all already know what's going on. We don't want to get all into the negativity. We want to talk about the news that's not for everybody. The final shift to disclosure. So welcome all walks of life. Notification bell on, all that good stuff. Share this post or broadcast out, all the community posts, everything to do with social media. Thank y'all so very much for being here with me today. It's been about 2 weeks since we've been live, and I want to throw this out here today. We're going to talk about aliens. We're going to talk about humanity. And welcome to the new facility where we're sitting here in the disclosed location beyond the let's just say the bluegrass state in the underground subterranean realm, or the bunker with the digital realm. It's a metaverse. It's a metaverse digital underground bunker that I wish I had. But hey, one of these days maybe I will, but maybe I won't. You'll probably see the cloud in behind you whenever you're out in the real world when there's a mushroom involved. But hey, there's encrypted language along the way. My teeth are falling out, but that's okay. Welcome to the channel, folks. Welcome to the channel. And thank y'all so very much. Like I can't even explain how long I'm excited for being here, how long it's been. It's been 2 or 3 weeks since I think I've been live. So I'm so ecstatic to be here tonight, or this afternoon, or this evening, or this morning, wherever you all are on this good old earth that we living in. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. News is not for everybody. If you're just new to the channel, if you're new following this, I talk a lot, I ramble a lot, and I tell a lot. And I talk about them aliens, and I talk about disclosure, and I talk about the Nephilim, which are going to be bringing that back to the channel very soon, and the giants and the excavations, and let's just say things that's been hidden underneath our earth. We're going to be bringing that back. And there's going to be some new things here, too, coming back to the channel. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long period of time. Did you guys know that I've got about 20-plus hours worth of footage where I've been, locations, and they've never seen the light of day? I'm going to be showing that to the channel. We're going to be doing some new things, throwing some memberships out there too with that type of content. So stay tuned for that. So guys and folks and everybody out there in all walks of life, let's just go ahead and jump into the society of psychological warfare, because that's where I'm at right now. So get that out of the way here. You all know what I'm talking about. I about broke my laptop. It was a digitized laptop. So the gentleman that's on the screen here, James Francisco, y'all probably knew about him a long time ago. He did a bunch of different movies back in the day. He's a little bit older than me, but he's in my generation, folks, and I have seen a lot of film that he's in. But James is experiencing something that a lot of folks out there in our society and reality are calling it disclosure. They're calling them the phantoms. They're calling them the specters. They're calling them the demons, the extraterrestrials, and all that good stuff. Well, Mr. James Francisco's wild videos, he's even made a TikTok videos and all that coming up and about, and he's saying they're non-human with glowing eyes in his garage. Filled conspiracy theories. Yep, it's happening. It is happening. So, let's just watch this video here because it's pretty comical. And it's got something that's just got me kind of puzzled, really. Let's see what he's got to say. And real quick, I said Francisco. Franco! James Franco! Talking about visually disturbed. Thanks for everybody in the chat for making sure I spoke that properly for all walks of life out there. They wouldn't critique me. I'd rather be critiqued and corrected than go around and be all mad because I spelt or said something and didn't pronounce it the proper way. So I'm a little rusty. But James Franco, let me correct myself there. No. Let's continue on. I better turn that off before I get hit with the copyright strike. How about that? I don't know where that came from. Wow. Here we go. Sorry, YouTube. What is he doing? Let's see. He writes us, okay, 713. 713. It Must Be an Epiphany by James Franco. So yeah, that's the first time I actually watched that. I put that in the segment for this video, this broadcast. So yeah, I gotta watch that. Hopefully I didn't get hit with a music claim there. Forgive me. But yeah, James Franco is being in the spotlight, okay? He's getting in the spotlight a little bit. Did y'all see that laptop just to reappear in front of me? I'll tell you what. Here's a video. Apparently somebody is making some other claims. Let's get into a little bit more strangeness with it.
James Franco is going viral because he's claiming there's something not human in his garage. He says he's not promoting a movie or anything. He's saying this is all real, that there's some serious shit going on. He says he's being watched, and I'm paying extra attention because my cousin is married to his cousin. So this story hits a little different because technically he's kind of...
It's hitting a lot different. Yeah, I'm going to go scroll through here, and let's get to the actual story without the sound in the background. Well, I don't think I can keep from that.
Glowing eyes and hand. I don't know how many fingers, and speaking. I don't know, something.
He then ran away and hasn't gone back in. And he claimed it was an alien. And now he dropped another breadcrumb. 713 at 713. Something is getting revealed. But anyway, James, what's up, cuz? Send me in. I volunteer as tribute.
Well, I've always got to watch what I do here on the channel and respect the YouTube policies and everything. You know, I don't want to get caught into this he said, she said, but it's kind of phenomenal that he claims this gentleman is supposedly somewhat married in or claimed to be kin to Mr. James. So what do you guys think? He's seeing a little creepy crawler, Stranger Things in his garage, and maybe he's like the guy from Ohio not too long ago, and that laptop just keeps glitching out, in and out, and you just want to get it out here and bust it up and throw it across the screen, so forgive me for that, but hey, no, there's a little insert here. But welcome to a broadcast in a channel where we're kind of goofy, and because everything is becoming so bizarro world in our society right now, okay, let's just be real about it, okay? The lenses and the vexation of the, let's just say the humanity itself has become a cesspool for either the term demonic or angelic or extraterrestrial, ultra-terrestrial, and then everything ties back to even the days of old with the biblical narrative, the ancient Sumerian texts, and all these cuneiform tablets, and the Anunnaki are getting spilled into our society now more and more, and a lot of people are talking about that in a different behavior, and then ultimately there's this, all this stuff going on in our society, and I don't know what to say, if it's he said, she said, or it could be maybe some poison along the way, just like this guy would say back in the 90s.
Careful now, they be poison snakes. Careful now, they be poison snakes. Careful now, they be poison snakes. Careful.
Welcome to the News Is Not For Everybody. Poison snakes, poison. I had to throw some comedy in there, but that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like the snakes are biting and the cosmological stance of it when we come to the Draco. We could talk about the constellations all day long and human constructs of our society. But at the end of the day, it's almost like, dude, what? People don't know how to treat each other. It's become a psychological warfare, and it's a landmine. We're just over dodging, weaving around, acting all crazy. But there is good humans still left in our society, but all of a sudden you could take a marker or something and turn it back into a 2012 video talking about CERN when they take up and they're having the jaws of the 007 films and they're putting a Sharpie and a cardboard together and saying that we went back in time and spilled the quantified containment of Mandela effect, and it's becoming more and more crystal clear that there's a lot of people out there making a lot of things that don't make no logic to me. And when I see, and I'm not saying anything against James Franco, I just think there's something more going on. What do you guys think? And I think even old Ernest T, back in the day, he knew something too. He knew what was going on. I love all those movies. It's pretty comical. I had to incorporate that in there. Poison snake, poison, get out of there. But yeah, what do you guys think? I had to throw that in there. So we have a lot of stuff to cover here today. That was the beginning of showing some probably audio that I'll probably get hit with the copyright, but welcome to the channel. I could dwell on that all day. So, speaking of James Franco and all this stuff that's going on to society, yep, we're going to show something kind of interesting here. A lot of people are going to be like, what are you showing me, Brian? Let's get that out of the way. Well, this right here is a spinal cord and all kinds of stuff. This is according to the account. There's researchers out there that are claiming that the more we focus on beautiful things, the more the brain gets used to seeing beautiful things. Well, I can just tell you this, folks. If I've learned anything through the last, 7 years of my life, and you talk about harmonics and let's just say the source field, like David Wilcox was trying to expose, that's a whole nother rabbit trail to go down. I've been reading one of his books about the soul field investigation, and it makes me wonder what he's actually trying to tell you. Okay? He was telling us something, and we just didn't want to listen. There's other people in the field of understanding. If you speak to a plant, it's not pseudoscience. If you speak to a plant, the plant picks up what you're laying down. And humans have complicated so much stuff because we have literally been driven to a book that somebody has made. I'm not talking about the Bible. I'm talking about all kinds of things, or even the cuneiform tablets from the ancient times back to Mesopotamian realm. I'm talking about literature, documentation that is just either spin or twist or even giving you 10% truth. That's where we are today in our society. People have always went along with he said, she said. And it's getting pretty apparent that things are not what they seem. And here I am on the other side of the spectrum. Hillbilly. Or looking like he's the boy from the Kentucky bluegrass with his teeth falling out. His eyeballs ain't right. That type of demeanor and foolishness. This is what I'm saying. People thrive off negativity. Well, guess what? You get negative results. It's pretty simple and all that. But that is something out there. You can do that for research purposes only or entertainment purposes only. You can go look at that. There's been scientific data where you talk to a plant, you say good things to it, it gives you good fruit. Imagine that. Imagine that. The God of all universe, the God of creation, created a man in a garden, and he was able to till the land and tend to the crops and the herb-bearing seed that the light of the world, think about this for a minute. Think about this for a little bit, just real simple. The light of the world, light, herb-bearing seed. Seed starts flowing and growing, and there's the Garden of Eden and all that good stuff. And he's supposed to tend to it. Speak good to it. Vibrancy. Hello. But here we are in 2026. We think we are all knowledgeable. But the things that are in our reality, we take advantage of, and we forget that if you speak beautiful things and beautiful tones and speak beautiful hymns and speak and song and dance and all that good stuff, when it comes to the goodness of it, things become great. Okay? Things become great. It's pretty easy to get your mind around that. But we have to have somebody tell us that to make it reality check, right? People mock and scoff and make fun of people. And then when you got individuals out there, I know all, but you can't see all. How about that? It's interesting. It's really interesting. Very interesting indeed. Well, speaking of interesting, can't go here, can I? Well, maybe I can. Maybe I can't. Total annihilation. Remember that, folks? I got something going on here. Hang on. Something stuck on the screen. A little rusty along the way, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. Let it get in my way. Well, beautiful things. You get positive results. But this realm, not to go on a big rant, okay? If you speak lies and you talk a big game, humanity can see through if you got the ability to discern things, you can look right through them and say, okay, this individual's lying, deceitful, and making an AI book because they had no ability to even write a book, and they make a religion or a doctrine out of it. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way I feel today, and forgive me for being so cutthroat, But I'm just kind of speaking some truth here. And maybe other people out there in the visual disturbance world are communicating and harmonizing with me that our society, we have been taken over by foolishness. That's the truth. And now we can't see clearly because we have to worry about somebody with a $5,000 suit on and him telling you what to do. Strange times indeed. Strange times indeed. So, anyways, the more I think about this, and the more I think how things are getting realer and realer by the millisecond, okay? And it's getting so real that for probably a large amount of money, get this out of the way, no joke, this was talked about, I think, about a year ago on the channel. It's interesting that it's coming back up. I keep seeing it popping up everywhere. But here we are coming from a man that's got a visual disturbance and a teeth issue right now. And over in Japan, they have begun trialing and doing some type of synthetic new, let's just say, medical thing in 2024. It keeps coming back up. So 2 years from, that's been 2 years ago. And hopefully they've perfected it with some nano. And they regrow their human teeth. Scientists are on the verge of ending dentures and implants forever. Well, I wonder what cut it off in the humans in the first place where your bodies couldn't rejuvenate. That's all the question I have. Maybe I'm just talking too much. Maybe, Brian, your intuitiveness is just, I just don't want to hear you speak. I can't stand it, right? There's people like that. Sorry to keep going all that negativity. It's supposed to be beautiful things, right? I want some teeth over here. I started talking. Look, I have entwined myself into the solar field, into the source field. Is I'm able to do a little chant, do a little harmonics, and get my teeth to grow back. Maybe it's what I got to do. Maybe they know something I don't. And maybe that's why one of the biggest manufacturers of chip productions is out there in Japan, because you can go look that up. It takes a long time to make one of those chips. And it's kind of interesting. You can go online right now, and you can barely afford any kind of equipment. You better hang on to what you got, folks, because according to the account, everything is so sky high, and everybody's blaming it on AI. And I don't think it's AI at all, because there's been things that is happening in our society now, and everybody just says, I blame this and blame that. It's always the humans blaming somebody else, but they don't want to point the finger at themselves. It's called pride. It's called pride and you've lied to yourself and made yourself to be a foolish human. But I digress. So yeah, get your teeth today at the new Grow Your Teeth facility. Let's bring back the laptop, what's left of it. And this one really got me going. And if I can get it on here. Yeah. So do y'all know the consciousness, right? Let's just have fun here. I don't want to go too detail with all this. Our consciousness may leave this dimension and enter an altered state of consciousness when we sleep and dream. This is what the scientists say. This is all about the he said, she said. And this is where I'm at right here. And I'm going to have my good old friend Barney to explain this nonsense.
I said, all right, you guys, I'm giving you the count of 3. If you ain't out of here on 3, I'm drawing on you. I said, all right, you guys, I'm giving you the count of 3. If you ain't out of here on 3, I'm drawing on you. I said, all right, you guys,
it's on repeat.
I'm giving you the count of 3. If you ain't out of here on 3,
oh, Barney,
I'm drawing on you. I said, all right,
but
you
yeah,
guys, I'm giving you...
It's becoming a problem. It's becoming an issue. Get this out of the way. Sleep paralysis, total insanity. Just do a little dance. Take a little trip to the astral realm and dimensional gateway rift of nonsensical ideology and make your brain turn into mush and communicate with the watchers. Communication leads to total annihilation. You see my point. But here's the thing. We don't see through the eye of a needle. We can't even see through their glasses, right? And we're sitting here listening to somebody with their I have all the knowledge in the quantum field and the rainbow bridge to Argotha. Oh, I'm sorry, Asgard. When I make stuff up, when I make these comments like this, it's not made up. You can go look this stuff up. Okay, you can go look this stuff up. Okay, these terms, and if I say Argotha, subterranean realm, primary water, make all kinds of commentary like that. It's not just I'm just sitting here listening to myself talk word salad. A lot of people give me ridiculing on the channel. It's because all you got to do is look it up. Okay, do a little research. It takes about 5 minutes on certain of these topics. You can get kind of the understanding overall scenario of what we're dealing with here. Our spiritual realm that we are stuck in. We are not against flesh and blood like the Bible talks about. It's against spiritual things, principalities, dimensional gateways, dimensional rifts, right? And if I have to listen to somebody from, I don't know, another communication of reality, talk like this with the creepy voice, I will control your consciousness. I will control everything because I have got 14 PFDIDID, whatever type of credentials, and I'm not making fun. But the individuals that sit there and say that to themselves over and over again, I am so superior and knowledgeable. Well, show me your knowledge. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I can write a book, and then you worship me for a long time. You worship me for years, and I'm strong in my knowledge. Welcome to the holographic universe theory when it comes into the Monroe Institute and all that good stuff. And whatever man soweth, whatever man reapeth. Strange times, folks. So here's the thing. Consciously demonstrations of dimensional gateway rifts or whatever, and you've gone around it being like a human experiment. And if the angels above and the little demons or whatever they are, if you truly don't know who you are and you don't even know where you take place at in the cosmos, and they say you come from a little ooze from the molecular structure of the pond out back where the cow takes a crap, you got yourself a problem when you think that you are from pond scum. We are created individually and special by somebody. A lot of people frown upon this, but God himself, the one that puts us here, the one that put us here, okay? Crazy times. Crazy times. I went too far, didn't I? I went too far on there. It's just a poison snakes, poison. I got to it in there. It's so much fun. Get that. It's just so much fun. So much fun here. I'm having fun today on the Visual Disturbance. It's been a long time. And speaking of squirrel. But speaking of dirty rabbit, I didn't throw my laptop out of the way. I was supposed to slide it through the arm rail of the mic here. But speaking of this came back up. The news is not for everybody. A lot of stuff coming up here. Frankenstein rabbits. Okay, Frankenstein rabbits. Not only do we have the invasion of the ticks, we got the invasion of the Roger Rabbit. Okay? Frankenstein rabbits with tentacles sprouting from their heads invade several U.S. states. You're going to be like, well, Brian, am I having a deja vu moment? No, you're not having a deja vu moment. I talked about this about a year or so ago. But I guess the furry creatures are coming back around, and they're going too far down in the depths of the, let's just say the tunnel systems, and they're picking up something that we shouldn't be playing around with on a nanoscale. Or it could be something from the spray above in their airwaves, right? Or maybe there's some documentation out there, three-letter agencies out there that talk about if you get too close or certain places, you go down the tunnel systems and you start having a biological change. Well, I'm not supposed to talk about that. But these poor critters out there, I guess contact your local wildlife when you start seeing, and according to the accounts, sprouting up and invading several states. Is it in your area? Let me know. Comment below. Let me know if you got a furry rabbit that's growing tentacles looking like something out of a kraken from a octopus scenario. Okay? Something's not what it seems. Welcome to the news is not for everybody. Well, speaking of octopus and all that, Oxford biologist said that if humans become extinct, the octopuses could The octopuses could build the next civilization. Welcome to Atlantis. Unleash the Kraken. Unleash the Kraken, folks. So this is the type of stuff that gets on my nerves, okay? Okay, so just hear me out. I'm going to speak my mind here. I'm going to speak my mind. Once again, whatever a man has in his mind to do evil things, you're going to get evil results. Whatever a man wants to do good and have good in his heart, and he speaks good, he speaks righteousness, he speaks love and empathy and mercy and grace, and he says to myself, I don't want to be self-righteous and prideful. I want to be a good darn human. I'm going to start treating everybody good. Okay? Everybody. Well, guess what? That person, I can't wait to make sure the tentacles come out. I want them to grow out of these creatures. We found the ancient knowledge from Mount Hermon, where the angels, the 200 Watchers, gave me diabolical history to create biological hybrids. Da-da-da. Crazy times, right? And it makes you want to just do this. I mean, it makes you want to just go waterboard. That's what you want to do. Hey, waterboard. You know, you suck. You know, y'all remember that movie, but, you know, that's what it makes me think of. And every time it becomes an issue, I could sit there, I could go out into a pond today, out there, if somebody would drive me, I could go to a pond and say, I see alien life everywhere. Go get my white coat. I see extraterrestrials. They're everywhere. Man has no right to be here. You see my point? And then here comes a bird. Here comes a hawk. And here comes the squids that's coming from the depths of the ocean. The Nagamati codices was telling the truth. He's talking about the creatures from the deep. Oh my gosh. I know. It's got to the point, folks. The Kentucky hillbilly from the bluegrass state is not sitting here being boastful. It's just I've read too much. I've seen too much. It's just getting out of control. It's hard to keep a solid thought even on the show, and in daily life it's like squirrel, squirrel, and now it's gonna be like squid. Give me some knowledge. I heard the biologist told me that you are going to create a new civilization. And this is what you get. It's just sorry, folks. But it's time to speak. It's time to speak out. Okay? We're supposed to be living humans, living good lives and living good for humanity, and not focalizing on Atlantean. Could you get my Poseidon? Get my I can't even talk. Get my Poseidon. I can't even talk. I can't even think. I'm crashing out. But I can't even think. But seriously, get my mermaids. Get my mermen. Get my octopus, my kraken. Poseidon speaks. You know, it's so bad, folks. You know how scary that is, though. On a serious note, that if you look at the Great Awakening map and it's all directly tied, you keep hearing this stuff about Mr. Wilcox, the source field. It all directly ties. There's something intertwining with it, with this extraterrestrial hypothesis and dealing with the propulsion system with exotic tech. All these people are flowing in the same camp. And I guess the aqua life. Did y'all know there was one of these squid-like creatures in the Argotha topic? But hey, I just don't get it. Everything seems so pathetic, right? Moving on. Squids, and then, I don't even know, and this person, this individual right here, this lady, this was a very interesting topic, coming back to the land dwellers And guess what we're dealing with here, folks? If anybody's new to the channel, we are literally looking at spiritual applications here. I understand it, the Ephesians 6, and I understand the Genesis 6 narrative all day long. I don't have to sit there and go outside in the field and look around and find Bigfoot and claim it's this guy, claim it's a redhead giant, claim it's this. It's all happened. It's all out there for everybody to indulge on for entertainment purposes only. This woman right here, though, this is a very interesting conversation piece for everybody. This is one of those moments where you want to push the button, Brian. You know, you push the button and wake up, right? You want to wake up into another realm. I just time jump, folks, into another location here in the underground bunker. I just teleported my ancient Stargate. Yeah, that's right, Stargate arcade machine. They live on steroids. And this young lady here on the screen, and don't even ask about what that's on that laptop. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. This lady claims, and we're going to say her name here in a minute, Miss Sarah Gam claims they walk among us, okay? UAP Insider talks about, confirms she personally met non-human intelligence hiding in plain sight in a certain place that you see on the screen there. And they've been there for decades, okay? This is just dropped, okay? And in June 2026, it's just dropped disclosure drop in interview with Josh Goblin Gepix, I can't pronounce his name to save my life. Former UAP Task Force analyst Sarah talked about this bombshell information. Bombshell. She has met an NHI public, including right in the nation's you-know-what, and these humanoid beings blend seamlessly with disguises or appearances, and it's just like the Stargate episode when they vibratory rate, they're like, we are the squid-like people. I'm not kidding, you can go look that up. You can go look it up. And somebody there, Paula Will, Jesus all day long. But anyways, welcome to the channel. She's met this NHI, okay? And these humanoids are disguising themselves with their appearances and all that. But their eyes are distinctive. They have this distinct energy about them, okay, where they can be spotted. And their presence is recognized, right? And she says they have been here for many, many decades, okay? And in 2024, the public statements, she even says on another network, where she confirmed analyzing UAP videos of non-terrestrial craft that disappear, reappear, and pull impossible maneuvers. All right? With the UAPTF largely agreeing some are not from Earth, UAP sightings aren't random visitors. This points to long embedded NHI operations on the ground, possibly hybrids or advanced beings already integrated into our society. As disclosure accelerates, is this a trigger for humanity's consciousness shift or proof we're going to be sharing the planet all along? The truth is closer and stranger than we can imagine. Just like right now, no joke, if you can see on the screen here your laptop, it might be time y'all can see, hit that like button, all that good stuff, and we had the Nephilim milk truck, okay? Seriously, stay tuned for more broken down milkman stories. I made this so long ago, and I had to incorporate it. Guess what? We're going to talk about a milkman story. I've said many here on the channel. It's just a time to insert this in here. Not only do we have disclosure and all this nonsensical mental breakdowns with folks out there, true fact. I used to have a debate all the time. There was individuals out there way back before 2020. They would make claims that cows was like if we had a strawberry, milk, okay, a different drink. They would claim that was, I've talked about this as a Spiricicon a year ago. If a strawberry cow, yeah, I heard you all heard me right? You heard me properly say that. People would debate me and claim that there were strawberry cows because there's strawberry milk. And then they would make claims like, well, there's strawberry cows, there's chocolate cows. I'm not kidding you. They did not understand the calibration process, anything to do with pasteurizing. They had no clue of what was going on. Whole milk, 2%, 1% fat-free. Do you realize how you get to that level? There's raw milk, whole milk, and we're not going to go there any more deeper than that. I want y'all to think for a minute. There's a process. And I can assure you, no man, not even the ancients, could be like, just hear me out. The cows, right? The UAPs, the UFOs, the cattle mutilation projects, all these different things you want to talk about. The NHI, whatever. The cows that are flipped up on their head and they got literally stress pneumonia and they're all, breaking down from the inside out and they suffocate pretty much. And there's some type of surgical thing going on with their eyeballs or the rib cage and all this nonsense that you hear with the UAP and the cattle mutilation connection. Little did I know if I time travel back in the day and I'd be like, hello, good lad. I go to some ancestry outside the Americas here. And hello, good friend. Hello, good chap. Do you know if that cow right there can I get some 2% or 1% or fat-free? He's going to be like sitting there. He's going to be sitting there in the process of getting the bucket and siphoning out the milk. Did I say siphon? Well, you know what I'm saying. Forgive me for that. A little fun implug there. But so I'm going to have to sit there and listen to this. Like he's going to have to listen to me. And he's sitting there milking the cow. And we're going to have an argument. And he's going to be like, get back, demon. Get back, demon. Don't defile my cow. This is the real true milk. What are you speaking of? And I'll be like, it's time to get back in the DeLorean. Back to the Future comment, y'all get it? That's what I'm saying. There's nobody, even back in the day, there was something that taught mankind how to do these processes. I'm just not, I'm from Kentucky, and a lot of people say he's uneducated, he's indigenous. I mean, I've heard all kinds of commentary, okay? Lord have mercy. Welcome to the society that is literally spinning out of control because guess what? You can't be a good human. You judge. You hate on people. That's what I'm saying. I've been having an urgency in my heart for like the last year. I keep hearing the term empathy, empathetic heart, loving people. How you doing? And then this is what you'll say. How you doing? I'm existing. I hear people I hear people say that to me. It's insane. I'm existing. What? And then this stuff is happening? What? But then we're like, hey, Disclosure Day came out, right? And I'm a little underwhelmed. I'm not talking about the movie itself, but I'm a little underwhelmed with this NHI, three-letter agency nonsense, teleportation, all this stuff that has been suppressed and hidden. And I could have told you that before years ago whenever I was first asked to be on a YouTube program. And I'm going, there was giants in the earth in those days. And also after that when the sons of God made with the daughters, man, all this stuff, right? What? And here we are in magical make-believe land. We're either debating over, even just, 10 years ago, there's no such thing as, there's cows that are strawberry. So here comes the ancient AI, the Atlantean knowledge, right? It gives me a headache for talking about it. Yeah, crazy times indeed. Did I just go too far? Did I just go too long on that? I probably did. I probably should have stayed quiet. Probably should. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say. We got to skip that. This one right here. This one gets me. E.T. phone home. As you can see on the TV there, he's coming through the 480 television, or 240 probably, and he's like, take me home. 1980s. Speaking of Steven Spielberg, he's made a lot of different, he's produced, directed, all these good stuff he's done. A lot of cool movies. Disclosure Day did not show me frames per second, 120 frames per second, and have a big debate over, I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? I can't stand this. There's demons, this is what I've heard people claim. Well, I'm just going to throw this out here for everybody, that they're claiming this movie's got this movie's got that, it's predictive programming. Sure, I've heard it, I've seen it. Well, guess what, everybody? That's what's been going on in the long term for a long time, for all kinds of entertainment purposes only. They've admitted it. It didn't come from this new movie, okay? And anybody with computer savviness to them understands frames per second, what frames per second is, and your brain can only perceive about, well, I don't know, if you're up there on the different higher level, about 30 or 40. I'm giving some grace there. You can't be taking in 120, 145, or 144 and you're going MK, MK. We're not supposed to be taking in this information. The stuff years ago, okay? You see you see something on the news, you'd be like, yeah, that happened. But you go back to work, and then all of a sudden, there's this new movie coming out, or this new video game, or whatever, and you didn't know what was going on in the world. Okay, this is not that long ago. Okay, you wasn't privy to the knowledge. Okay, and then a little did I know, when we start getting these mirrors in our pockets, we're going like this: Black Mirror, Stargate, and we take in so much information. No wonder people are going, I'm existing now. That's because they live, we sleep. And E.T. over there, he's like, I'm coming through the television, I'm going to get on my feet. It's crazy. Pure craziness. Well, speaking of here, this new quantum research reveals time doesn't move forward, but folds. Einstein. It folds in the quantum field, and itself meaning your present actions might already be reshaping the past. Come on, Doc Brown. Back to the Future. Great. Excuse me. Great Scott. Right? Look that up. And I miss those days too. Electric Camel, I just agree whatever you said there. I miss the days of old. I put a post on Facebook. I would ask you all to be kind to me and subscribe and follow me on there. The link is in the description. I just posted some reels. Just me chilling and relaxing and acting all cool. Well, I don't know about cool. But I asked everybody, I said, would you like to go to 1950, 1955, or 1985? And I even throw it in the mix, 1850. Because things are coming unglued from the seams. And we're sitting there saying the quantum field and the quantum leap and all this nonsense, right? It's getting weirder and weirder, right? And they're like, Brian, you can see, you have discernment. I've heard people say that, and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, I do. But I don't like, here's the thing. When people boast, like, themselves, and they give me flattering words, it makes me like, whoa, take the brakes back, you know? I love to hear in a private conversation, people talking, oh yeah, Brian, you're cool and all this stuff. But when it comes all the time repetitiveness and it's like all the time, I like to just be a light to the world and give people hope. And they'll be like, that's that guy that didn't give up. Even though his teeth falling out of his head, his visual cortex is all fried up and rotted, and he's sitting there just still spewing out and spitting out that Kentucky slang. And trying everybody to at least, I don't want everybody to be on my level, because we all have different walks of life. We all have different levels to understanding. If I sit there, I'll be like the man from back in the day. I see an ancient artifact, and now I'm going to make all kinds of speculative ideology, and I'm going to make people submit to me. No. I want people to be like, man, let's roll, let's go. We got one more step for humanity, not one giant leap for mankind. We got only about one more time to put the gear out of it's stuck in third gear, but we got like a 5-speed. We need to get to 5th, okay? We need to get to 5th because this propaganda, subliminal messaging, if it's in the text of the frames per second, we're getting sucked into the toilet bowl and we don't even understand what's going on. And I'm just talking, okay? And I love when people give me encouragement. I love it so much. But I don't want to be idolized and get the red carpet out, okay? I'm thankful that people want to hear me out and listen to me. But guess what? This is why I always like to say welcome all walks of life to the channel, because with big open arms, I want you all to come into my world, hang out with me in the digitization underground facility here on the channel. And the one thing I always want to be known for is being real. Like just being real, like a big human being that's supposed to, did I say big? Not giant stature. But hey, I want to be real. I want to be a real, not a synthetic. Just like this black screen on my laptop there, just shut off. I want to be just known as a real person, right? That had infirmities and kept grinding, right? There's people in the chat that I've seen the screen names before. People send me emails and messages and what have you, and I know you all are going through some grind too, and it's like, and all you got to do is, even though you go through these infirmities, it's like, we can overcome it. But people are like, we are in the quantum field, and whatever we do now affects the past, and The grandfather effect. I mean, it's crazy, right? It's crazy times. It's crazy times. And here's what I'm saying. You know, a lot of people out there, these conspiracy theorists and everything, they're like, get your tinfoil hat out. And I'm over here like this in real life. Choo, 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 choo. You know, I even make commentary on the channel. Get your blue tarp while they last. If the petroleum keeps going up, the tarp businesses are going out. They're not going to be existing anymore. Just throwing it out there. Get your blue tarp today. Watch out for the laser beams. Yeah, crazy times. So reshaping our reality. And one other thing, too, before I get into it. I want you all to know that when you come here, yes, it's humorous. Yes, it's funny. Yes, it sometimes becomes a comical comedy. Did I say comedy? I didn't say comedy. No, comical act, but it's not. Okay? There's nothing here rehearsed. There's no bullet points. This is all off the cuff. This is being real here at the Visual Disturbance realm. One moment at a time. Okay? And we got to be good humans. I'm talking about good humans. And all these things that has tied everybody together and messed with our cortex. If we believe that we come from pond scum, and that pond scum and that cow that defecated into the creek changed my trajectory back in the past and changed my consciousness, we're going to be hurt. We're going to be hurt. I digress. Broken down milk stories. It's been a long time since we've done it. Let's hit the button. Let's go back. Let's go back in time. Oh, well, it didn't go back in time. I just went to another level. Yeah. Okay. So, this one got me. Okay, we're going to go here to this other one. Very interesting. And I've got to throw this in here, speaking of NHI and stuff like that. And if you were there for me at the SpiracyCon, if you were there to hang out with Visual Disturbance and all those good folks at SpiracyCon this last August, y'all heard me talk about something I've never reported on or even talked about. And I probably won't talk about it on the channel much. It was for a live audience only. And this topic of the blue people, we talked about it a little bit on the channel, but I didn't get into deep detail with it. So, this is very interesting to me. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. One time I had a crazy dream. Just a crazy dream. Okay? Well, this crazy dream, I didn't realize that people at that time frame was experiencing dreams or visions or whatever type of craziness that you can hear online. Little did I know that there was actually a record. And people that was Ross Cohart and all those folks was reaching out to him and speaking about something. I think it was like 170-something cases about a blue being. Okay? Really crazy. Once again, if we're sitting here talking about spiritual applications of Ephesians 6, when you look at the Bible, our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, wickedness, thrones, dominions. Do we not? We're talking about on something that's on another level. Okay? We talked about it all the time to an exhausting level. Talking about the different levels that they claim in a 3-letter agency document talking about the Lakas, the Talas, Sheol, the dark place, Manikwabu relating to the grays. I mean, good night. And I'm over here thinking, Enoch, the book of Jude, the book of Genesis, Zechariah 5, you name it, even Ezekiel's Will and a Will that's coming out in the news here lately when it comes to Ana Paulina Luna, and we're going to talk about it here in a little bit on the channel, and we might just have to take a moment to throw over and do this one more time because I just want to have some fun and laugh a little bit while I give me a sweet comment. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Hey, water boy. That's how I feel. Okay, so recalibrate, get you a swig of coffee, and calm down. So according to this count, this young lady on the screen here, Nicole Miyus, I think that's how you pronounce it, who claims she was clinically dead for 2 minutes. She encountered this giant blue fish-like being with glowing indigo eyes and woke up speaking a completely unknown ancient language for 10 minutes. No joke. I'm not going to talk about what I talked about at Conspiracy Comp. But what I just told you, this young lady, strange indeed that there's some kind of parallel tie-in, okay? Hit that like button, folks. There's a lot of people in the chat. I can't believe y'all came back. Welcome back to the channel. I'm a little energetic today. Can y'all tell? Got my coffee, got my water. Trying to calm down because our society is becoming a cow pie. Did I say that? That's for a whole nother talk. That's for a whole nother subject. Cattle mutilation on steroids, folks. The blue beings. Well, in 2015, let's get back on the subject. 2015, she was 4 months pregnant and excited to have her first child when she suddenly became ill. Her husband, who is a doctor, took her to the hospital. Doctors discovered that the baby had died. Listen, this is very, very serious when I talk about stuff like this. Seriously. Something here at the beginning of the year, I took hit after blow after blow. Okay, my dad passed away. I mean, I've been dealing with all this stuff. I mean, health concerns, all these different things. And then January 2026, boom, a lot of people don't know this. Me and my wife, we lost a baby. No joke. Still gets me every time because it's a very emotional thing. She was just about 10 weeks and just unfortunately, yeah, probably said too much. Continue to pray for her and us. We've been going through a lot. It just seems like punch after punch. So when I see this and read this is the first time I actually read this. I skimmed through it. But yeah. So God bless this woman, 2015. It doesn't matter what year it is. If you lose a child, especially during a pregnancy like that, it is a very forever touchy subject. Big shout out to all these mothers out there and fathers that have had to endure this stuff because it's so bad. Little personal stuff there in my personal life. So, welcome to the channel, folks. Just throwing some stuff out there. That's the kind of stuff that I've been going through. My teeth falling out, grinding, stress level to the highest level. Feeling like I don't know. The spiritual realm is just real, and people need to wake up because time is of the essence. They live, we sleep. Just like I said earlier, and E.T.'s walking around on his feet. But anyways, this lady, Nicole, 2015, she had her first child. She suddenly became ill. Her husband's a doctor, took her to the hospital. Doctors discovered the baby had passed away, unfortunately. It needed to be removed. It's just a subject. It's very hard. She becomes seriously ill. Under anesthesia, Nicole says she left her body entirely in a glowing room. She entered a glowing room and saw a blue giant. Blue giant, okay? A blue giant. Well, there you go again. It just teleported, and we just lost the slide. That's okay, because it's a very sensitive topic for me. And I'm making mistakes. So yeah, blue being. And this whole giant blue being, this blue-like fish being, okay? Mind you, giant. Fish being with indigo eyes, all this stuff. She has an outer body experience, and she's sick or whatever. And there's those indigo eyes. Feathered hair, okay? And tails sitting on thrones. She sees all this. She sees fish-like beings. Nicole says she was not always a painter. She only began painting after the near-death experience and believes it became a gift that came from the other side. End quote. She also says the artwork sometimes resembles a aboriginally dot art, even though she claims she has never studied it before. Nicole wonders whether she may have had a past life. Here we go. Remember, the scientists are saying, whatever is affected in the future affects the past. It's in the past, right? Crazy times, right? Crazy times. And then I want to throw something out here real quick. Just put a pause. Click. Pause it. I want to thank y'all so much, too, for this whole dental thing I'm going through. Big shout out to all you lovely people out there. Like I said, those broadcasts before, I hated to ask for help, but I have the best audience, the best listeners out there, and I'm trying my best to be able to get this all fixed. It's going to be staggered. Gonna be going through some things. Gonna be some, well, let's just say probably months of dental work. But you guys rock. You guys are awesome. Thank you all for being human and being real. Appreciate that. So, she's having all this stuff. Let's get back on the horse. Let's push play. And watch out for strawberry cows. Okay. So she's supposedly had this past life connected to this Aboriginal people, or whether she's somehow tuned into this frequency, right? You hear about this all the time, the astral realm, astral world. I mean, my God, folks. How much more crazier can we get? We're in the underground bunker facility here talking about the news is not for everybody. And we're over here talking about frequency and consciousness and blue light beings floating around the air and teleportation. Oh, my goodness. But yeah, she also connects. She thinks it's something to do, and I will say this, I think it's ancestral DNA, but, you know, I'm just a man with an opinion. She also connects the idea that to her, a belief that Earth may be a dream realm. Well, here we go once again. You know, David Icke, all those individuals are talking about this, that there's some type of prison planet ideology. I mean, my goodness, folks. It just gets really weird, okay? It just gets really weird. So you have all this stuff, right? You have all this intertwining of a dream state, astral projection, and then once again, the human, frames per second, or whatever type of mysticism or magical world of insanity goes in your eyeballs and testing you, constantly testing you. And at the end of the day, we think about the soul that's in the body, and we're constantly getting tested like Neo from the Matrix. It's crazy. Study thyself to be approved. Study thyself. Think about where you're at. Think and question everything. Question what's in this cup. Well, I'm talking about the minerals that's made out of what it is. Okay? Think before doing. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where I came from. Yeah. I appreciate you. COG 1140. This is the comment. You are awesome, buddy. I appreciate you so. I appreciate you for being here right now. And everybody in the chat, Tim Morrison, all these folks. Big shout out to you guys. Big shout out. So, dream state, astral world, physical world, Garfield world, whatever type of world. Crazy times. And one of her core beliefs that is that the physical world is not the real world. She says the earth feels real because we work, we eat, we love, we suffer, and live our daily lives here. However, she believes this is actually the dream world, while the place people visit during a near-death experience is the real world. According to her, that the realm is filled with love, positivity, and high frequency, with no fear, anger, guilt, or judgment. And then when she regained consciousness, Nicole suddenly began speaking an unknown language that's ancient, sounding language with tones similar to dolphin and whale communication. Bring on the Poseidon, the Atlanteans. You see my point? And then we have 5 to 6 underwater bases that are latched down, and we know who they are, and we're going to tell you the story of the UFO files and all this stuff, right? And later she connects these beings that she saw, the Apakuka, or Apakawa, I think it's how you pronounce it. Apakula. It almost sounds like an app with Kool-Aid, but forgive me for butchering that. Fish-like sages from ancient Babylon mythology. Apakula? Yeah, that's the best I can pronounce it right now because my teeth are killing me. Let me get a swig of coffee. So I'm going to say this for the record here because I want to be a good human. This is for entertainment purposes only, and I'm leaving it up to you to think, okay? I'm not here to tell you what to think, but I want to have a thought-provoking, gear-turning conversation. Your left hemisphere, your right hemisphere of your brain, little neuron activity, little, sloshing around. God created you special, Turn the gears, Go out there and get you some organic vegetables out of your garden, that kind of thing. I'm putting little hints out there. When I say stuff, I don't say it in a sentence. I say it like in little code words. Yeah. Nicotine in the... Yep. Anyways, and cauliflower, tomatoes, all that good stuff. Go out there and get you some broccoli. Yeah. There you go. Does a body good for some inflammation. But anyways, fish like beings, water like beings. I mean, it's like the movie Abyss from James Cameron. We have the water. The water's above, the water's below. I mean, I do those impressions because it's crazy to me. It blows my mind. Bow before me. I have all the knowledge. I have the longitude, the latitude. Well, guess what? People are catching on. Hey, senor, people catching on. You know what I'm saying? People catching on. And people mock us. People mock us. Our linguistics, our language barrier, if you're a hillbilly or whatever, it's all segregation. And you know what that means? It's discord. It tears people down. It's fear, guilt, judgment. It's trash. Throw it out. Listen to people. And it's hard sometimes when there's a language barrier, sure. But guess what? You can treat humans good. They can't even speak the language you speak. And they sense it. Just like those plants. When you're over going, hey, little plant, can you give me a tomato today? Well, it might take a 30-day process or longer. Hello, or longer than that. Treat good things, get positive results. Same thing with the human. I've done that before. People can't speak. I don't judge people when I'm like, hey, how you doing? And they don't speak English. I'm like, I don't speak English either. I speak redneck. But I'm a high-tech redneck. You see my point? Genuineness, love, no judgment, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, you astral project in the blue beings. And like a good friend of mine says, and I've said it occasionally on here, be the change you want to see as a good human. It's easy. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not. I used to be kind of bending the fence a little bit and teeter-totting over, prideful, sometimes thought evil ways, just demonstrating foolishness in the past years ago. Foolish human, young human, not being taught anything, not being taught nothing about our reality, just a cesspool of a cow pie in the creek water. You see? I've been there, okay? I've been there. I know what it feels like to be just squashed. But man, good human, good communication. Guess what happens? That kind of thing. You take the laptop, well, not, it's a figurative sense. Don't throw your digital laptop across the table like I did. But yeah, that's an interesting story. Sorry to rant, but yeah. So continue on. This news is not for everybody. Subscribe, hit the like button, all that good stuff. And more good stuff along the way. And subscribe, share us out. I'm a little dusty along the way. But I'm going to throw this up here and see if I can play it. And let's see if we can do it. Avi Loeb, we talked about him quite a bit. Especially with the 3-Eye Atlas. Actually, we'd like to have him on the show. Remember, it would be intriguing to have guests on. But I've learned that I'm on my own. I've got help from folks in the past. Big shout out to Adam Abara and other folks. But a one-man band, right? So it'd be cool to have some guests on in the future on the Visual Disturbance channel. Be really nice. So big shout out to Avi Loeb. Let's just hear what he has to say here about the Nordics and different things to that magnitude. And let's just see what Avi Loeb has to say and go from there.
So that's a very interesting question. It brings up our origin, into focus. We maybe in the future we'll figure it out. We'll realize that we are here because of some interstellar gardener. But it also asks the question of what will we encounter, and that's why I think we should not be too affected by the script of Spielberg's film. He shows images of aliens, but I'm not sure. Now, with respect to specifically Nordics, if I don't know if the U.S. government has bodies, but it may well be that if we're dealing with human-made technologies that were retrieved, there would be different ethnic origins for the pilots, and they refer to it with code names, and one was Nordics. I just haven't seen any direct evidence to indicate these types of aliens are in possession. And I told my colleague at Harvard, Professor Stein Jacobson, who helped me analyze the materials we retrieved from the Pacific Ocean. He's originally from Norway, and he did a DNA test, and he realized that he is a descendant of the Vikings. And he's very proud of that. So I told him, I will defend your ancestry. I will defend it against those who claim that you are extraterrestrial. So,
Okay. All right. So did anybody get the news flash? And everybody can test this, okay? I'm not sitting there just making up stuff just to make it entertainment and just click value and all that. Just like James Franco, at the beginning of the program, we talked about him for a few moments. Talking about he's seeing stuff in the garages. It's going down. Meet me at the mall. In the Miami Mall. We're seeing Vikings show up at the Spirit Box now. I mean, come on. I wasn't just gurgitating a variation or different lyrics of a rap song. I'm talking about something we talked about a long time ago on the channel about the Miami the incident. There's so much going on with that, folks. Vikings. They said there was like 10-foot Viking-like helmet dudes. I tied it back to the west side of America, Arizona. You know, they have a certain insignia on the, let's just say on the granite, on the side of the rock, spiral, Viking-like creature coming through. Taking the human. Oh. Sorry, Ed. Hello? Right? But then the other twist to this whole narrative at the Miami Mall back a couple years ago, there's claiming that the teenagers was talking and playing with the spirit box. What do you expect? There's all kinds of weird, sinister things tied to just cognitive dissonance of insanity. You've seen the shadow figures coming out. I mean, there's so much. I mean, it's beyond even. It's not even worthy of talking about, really. What's interesting, the Avi Loeb here talks about the Nordics, talking about Vikings, talking about somebody that took a test, look at the ancient Viking heritage. For spot, whatever. I'm almost at the movie 300. for Valhalla, right? It's interesting that the Nordic alien came back around in our society. Like it keeps inundating into all this UFO disclosure, ufology and everything. And it's another thing to note that they're claiming that, I think it's North Dakota, South Dakota, somewhere out there in Montana, somewhere out there in the Midwest or West Coast, that there's Vikings supposed to be tied to Nordics, and they're claiming that was what these tests was, to search for the aliens, the hybridization peoples, aboriginally people. Get a swig of water. So, full stop. Avi Loeb, talking about Three Atlas. There's claims that Three Atlas is a craft that the scientists had created. And we got the Nordics. And something's tied into this with their solar system type of situation. And he was just appointed the head of the UAP Science Advisory Council to the, the big house. He's a Harvard professor. There's something going on. Well, little did I know, folks, and this is not even going to be incorporated into this program, little did I know that the stuff that I would eventually step upon, I have books, and thanks to big shout out to David Carrico for kind of steering me in a different direction, even though I had this book before me and David become friends. Documentation from Kentucky. Talking about tall whites. Not kidding. In the literature, in the documentation, archaeology, explorers, talking about tall whites. Talking about the Native American cultures communicated with them, and they was tied into some god worship. Well, guess what, folks? It's the Galactic Federation or whatever type of reality that they teach them arts and everything and the artistic side of things and give them knowledge. But guess what? There's a con. Genesis 6, verse 4, if you look at it all day long, they talk about the sons of God made with the daughters of men. They took wives as they chose. Well, guess what? It's the same scenario. Give us what we want, and we'll give you some technology. Diabolical. Right? And that's all came out. And I just want to. I'm not over here with James Franco and be like, man, I got the green-eyed Peruvian face peelers coming out of my garage, man. What's up, dude? You know, whatever. I choose to do a lot of prayer, and I have to. And anybody out there that claims that they know, look, I'm not discrediting this individual, but until it's recorded or documented. Back then, when they was writing this stuff down, they didn't have the entertainment world we have today. This is the 1700s. They was writing it down to be informative. Where's our history? What is wrong with the alternate? There's alternative history and the Anunnaki concepts, everything. Where are we at? Where are we at? So, this is where it gets more interesting. Let's just get the laptop back here. Hit the like button if you get an opportunity. And I'm going to show you something about that's got me really a little going cray-cray. And a lot of people are like, Brian, you're too old to be talking like that. Well, I do these shows. I do this news and out for everybody because it's hard. It's hard to take serious people. And if they have, we're, you know, and I hear these terms, we're in this together from higher ups. And I just can't get on the saddle. I like to be shown. I like to observe, even though visually I'm drained. I like to be shown things. I like to articulate things a certain way. And analytically think. But I don't know. Some people just don't know. Some people don't want to know. So this one. Harvard physicist claims Mars red for a reason. Red, blue. Red light, blue light. UFO phenomenon, red light, blue light. David Plotty's done an extremely good job with the Missing 411 and that documentary to do with the UFOs and aliens and disclosure and everything. Did a phenomenal job. We talked about it many times here on the channel. Okay? And when I think about red and blue, woo, you know, same thing, red and hot. It's kind of a reality. Welcome to the Matrix. Well, the one that really just sticks out to me in that film, that documentary, talks about this testimony. This individual seen some type of device, like a drone, come over and pick a cow up and freeze it. Like literally not freeze like Han Solo from Star Wars, but like literally make it just completely, it looks like a toy. It looks like a plastic wax doll, okay? Cow gets picked up by the device and it's got a red-blue light. And none of those testimonies, it was so interesting. They all have this red-blue testimony. Red-blue. Well, here we got this red Mars, you know. And the red, for the reason, is a nuclear catastrophic wiped its civilization. He points to the Xeon 129 spikes and the Syndion structures as clear evidence of the Mars nuclear apocalypse. I'm not throwing down on him or anything. I'd like to be in the room with him, and I'd like to see that information. And this is not scoffing or anything. I really just want to hear it. I really do. I'd like to be in the room. I'd like to have the knowledge. That'd be great. That'd be great. Elon said he's going to conquer Mars. The ancient ones from 1940 said that there was a guy named Elon going to be taking over Mars. Yeah, Tim Morrison, where's the beef? Yeah, that's right. Yep, where's the beef? Well, hang on a minute. Let me see. Where's the beef? Well, I got to throw this in here. This is George Knapp. I got to show you all some clips from George Knapp. And I followed George Knapp's work for a long time, and I respect him in a manner too. I have respect for everybody, really. There's nothing I'm going to say here. Sometimes I would like to see the proof. That's all I'm asking. Let me see if I can get this going here. Here we go. This is a video from George Knapp a while back, and let's see here. It was June. It was this month. June, I cannot believe it's almost July, folks. It is unbelievable how fast time is flying by. Anybody else feel the same way? I sure do. I sure do. Well, George Knapp has been around coast to coast, been doing all kinds of stuff for a long time. He's been at the top of the UFO scenario, trying to get the information out, been all over it, okay? Got a lot of connections. David, I think it's David Grush, all those individuals. Well, let's just watch this video. Let's just watch it.
Okay, my question about David Grush, has he actually seen them or has he been told that they exist?
He's been told they exist by people who work inside these programs. And in some cases, I think he's seen photos and has seen internal reports that describe what was found in crashes, not just Roswell or Kecksburg or things like that, or Kingman, which was pretty close. We've covered, it's pretty close here, and not all of them were dead. Some of them were alive. And there's pretty reliable reports from a good source that we've revealed in the past that we had a live one here in Nevada for a while. And they didn't know how to communicate with it.
Okay, my question.
Here's my question. So in this interview, he's talking about all this stuff, non-human biologics. Let's just have fun. On the disclosure film, spoiler alert, there's a certain term called listen. That's all it says, the very end of it. Listen. Spoiler alert. Anybody out there? Spoiler alert. Tall, probably 8 foot tall, grayish colored alien. George Knapp is saying we used to have some that was fresh, that was still intact. I've seen some stuff that's pretty dark on the Internet of Things claiming these gray or creatures that look like what you would be depicted on the movie are very similar in their appearance. Just like the testimonies I read here at the NHI and all that. Oblong-shaped eyeballs, sometimes blue, green, gray, what have you. But what's interesting about the disclosure, there was little grays and there was tall grays. Phil Snyder, anybody? Phil Snyder connection? Phil Snyder said there was a large gray, 7-8 feet tall, if my memory serves me correct, and he rubbed his belly and all of a sudden a plasma, like, let's just say something came out of the stomach and, let's just say severed some of his fingers. Whoa, right? Whoa. What I'm saying, there's too much evidence that George Knapp and all these individuals are getting out in the ufology, and all the ufologists out there and everybody out there talking about this. A lot of people. There's too much evidence that I can find personally in my local area that directly connects all this. And Native Americans have nothing else. They don't have nothing to hide back then. They're straight up telling us the truth about that they picked up their traditions or something to the level to do a sun god worship. The cosmological, the cosmic boogie woogie, right? Whatever that means. I got a friend that says it all the time. Hello, David. The Mazzaroth, like the constellations, the Draco constellations, the Cygnus. They're all these things tied to megalithic structures and Göbekli Tepe. I mean, my goodness, folks, I get real excited here. Like David Pilates, his work, interdimensional capability. George Knapp, talking about interdimensional, non-biological humans, biologics. Got one alive, Roswell event, all this stuff tied together. Valiant Thor, they talk about, spoke all kinds of different ancient languages. Something is going on. And this whole way of understanding our paradigm and how things are being laid out, what I'm sensing in my spirit, detach from the spiritual things. Nothing against these gentlemen. I'm talking about the narrative is leading to interdimensional hypothesis, fallen angels, extraterrestrials, and even, I'm going to throw it in there, ultra-terrestrials that I say, and I'll say this on record here, I think it's claiming these people used to be human. Full stop. So if there's extra extraterrestrials and humans out there that done something to upload themselves or become a Gilbert Ream or something that might even have old or something to the renowned to be an immortal on Earth. Whoa, hello, watch out. Watch out. And maybe that's what they're talking about. Maybe there's just an altering biological connection, and a lot of things are tied back to Mount Hermon and the Book of Enoch. George Knapp. George Knapp, folks. And speaking of the Book of Enoch, we've talked about this earlier. Paulina Luna, Anna Paulina Luna. She just went on a big podcast the other day and said something very interesting, and I figured I'd go ahead and incorporate that into the program. Hit the like button, subscribe if y'all are just now joining in. A good old boy from the Bluegrass State. One visual disturbance at a time. Check this out. It's a small clip, but it's there. Hang on a minute. She talks about this on, I don't know if I can even play it. Hopefully I've gotten back with some of the audio and some of the footage here, these clips. Hopefully I can share that on the channel. But everybody knows Rep Anna Paulina Luna, okay? Big into the UFO scenario. She's getting with it, right? She's been all over it. This is what she said. A lot of people are talking about the UFO drops. Have you been keeping up with it? I've not been so feeling so well, but I haven't been able to do many programs here on the channel, live streams especially, talking about the UFO disclosure, UFO on the Department of War. Let's just see what she has to say.
In the next, I think, week or so, there's going to be another tranche of documents, or footage. But it's one of those things that we won't tell you what to believe. You can look at it and review it for yourself. I think a lot of people realize, maybe we're not the only thing on this planet, but I don't like to speculate other than, our witnesses have told us some very interesting things. They don't use the word extraterrestrial. They use interdimensional, and then look for the stuff for yourself and make your own conclusions.
I'm going to make my own conclusions then. Since she gave me the floor there to make my own conclusions, I'm going to make my own conclusions then. Y'all know where I'm headed. If a signature of some shape or form, now hear me out, those words. If a signature of a frequency, just like the Kandahar giant, just like Nimrod, just like all these ancient men of antiquity, a certain frequency resonance, they can find it. They can find it on a nanoscale. That's what we're looking at here. That's what we're looking at. And that's what Anna Paulina Luna is going to be sharing that one these days. You mark that down. Interdimensional. And I remember what Steve Quayle said years ago, talking about certain, let's just say, devices that will be no good to something that's interdimensional, spiritual, and then starts manifesting unless you have the right ammunition. It reminds me of the movie Underworld. The vampires, vampirism, blood residents, werewolves, dogman, what have you, the lichens. The land between the lakes, folks. The land between the lakes, Kentucky and Tennessee. It's ate up. Big shout out to Martin Groves. He's been talking about it. Hope he's doing well. Wolf-like men, looking like humans. But they come to find out there's like some kind of human bloodline, historical, ancestral DNA alignment here. Something weird. Take it for what it is. The Phantoms, the Sentinel group that came supposedly in 2019 here in the Kentucky state. Can't document it. I mean, I can't verify it. But that's out there in the airways. A Sentinel group, like a video game, coming down and taking out like wolfmen in the caves because they was making people disappear. Crazy times. I can't even fathom it. My brain, what is going on, right? So at the end of the day, spiritually speaking, okay, Dogman, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Hillbilly, Yeti, whatever, Ophanum, Ifa, those terms in the UFO community, but they've been around for ancient antiquity, the triangle-shaped craft that's the capstone for the Pyramid of Giza. Let me get a drink of coffee here. I mean, what? It's this time. It's time for this. That's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Careful now.
Poison, right?
They be poison. Poison snakes.
Mine number.
Careful now.
Mine
They
number.
be poison.
Mine number.
Poison
Yeah.
snakes. Careful now.
I could get speechless here on air. I could go there real quick. And this stuff is being talked about mainstream. And I talked about this stuff years ago and got scoffed at, made fun of, ridiculed, say that I was a complete moron. Those type of terminologies. And I'm sitting there saying, hey, it's a spiritual battle. It's not a spiritual battle. There's nothing like this. There's nothing like that on earth. Nothing bad at all, Brian. You need to go to church. You're just doing the devil's work. I'm trying to expose what the devil's doing. Oh. And then they just look at you and mock you. Crazy times. Crazy times indeed. Crazy times. Okay. So, not only do we have this non-extraterrestrial nonsense, we got people claiming all this stuff. Right? You get all this stuff that goes back to ancient antiquity, time travel, quantum field entanglement, grandfather effect. Go look this stuff up, folks. Claiming that there's something that's directly tied to our ancestral DNA bloodline. It all records back to a simulation theory. I mean, good night. I mean, how far can we go until we stop believing where we're at? For real. Think about what I just said. If we start questioning so much, I say all the time, question everything, but I'm talking about questioning things in your reality. Don't question the reality that you're part of. I'm talking about if you go outside and you say, well, that's the grass. That grass ain't real. That plant I planted there ain't real. That house ain't real. I'm in the wrong world. I'm in the 3D. I want to be in a 4 and a 5D. I can't wait to astral project to another world. When you start talking stuff like that, man, that's called going too far. That's called going and chasing the Bugs Bunny down the street, and then all of a sudden, here comes the ancient Vimana. Is going to tag and bag you. Let's get into this next one. Where did I come up with this stuff at? Tag and bag. There's a human that knows too much. Gosh, he's too bright. He's shining too much light down there. We have to turn him off. Well, speaking of turning off here, I had to look at another an example here. Well, another NHI situation, right? Brian started having call-ins. I have thought about it. Okay. This woman on the screen here, her name is Brianna Lafferty. I think I said it right. Forgive me if I butchered it. Says she died for 8 minutes. Another near-death experience, folks. She came back with a message. Completely changed her. The way she sees death. What makes her story so striking is that she says she was not a spiritual person for this. She had a logical, scientific mind and never believed in anything. Any kind of things like this is usually associated with near-death experiences. Okay? Her religious parents and even told her that because she was an atheist, she would go to hell. But when this happened, she says there was no hell, no punishment, and no angry God waiting for her. Instead, she felt love, and she remembers wondering where she was and why she was there. Once again, the depiction on the screen looks like a blue entity. Just throwing it out there. The answer did not come from a normal voice. She says it came from everywhere around her. Almost felt like air itself was speaking. The message was simple, but it hit her deeply. Welcome home. That one phrase, according to her, triggered something inside her soul. She says she felt like she suddenly remembered everything. Her life on Earth, with all the fear, identity, pain, confusion, felt temporarily almost like a dream or an illusion. The place she had entered left her more real than this world. And this is where the story begins even more powerful, because Nancy, this other individual, describes something very similar with a horrific accident. So trauma. And this individual named Nancy was a former atheist also, beside science-minded, a writer who became known in near-death experience community after a life-changing bicycle event. I'm not scoffing. I'm not making fun of these individuals. Why is this near-death experience thing keeps coming back up? And then there's this thing that come out just recently. There was individuals out there talking about the near-death experience, or they actually use some type of, let's just say, chemical compound to astral project to the world with the aliens, and the aliens kicked them out. That's the claim. Don't punch the messenger, but that's the claim of what our reality is supposedly, let's just say, claiming it to be. What do you guys think on this one? This one kind of hit hard too, because we always get that near-death experience. Well, I'm not tearing it down. I just think that there's more to it, and I think there needs to be more explanation and studies to these explanations or these near-death experiences. And we've talked about that many times here on the channel, talking about there has been scientific evidence when people pass away, they actually measure their body weight, and they would lose a few ounces after they supposedly left their body. Like, passed away completely, not a near-death experience. But is it legitimate? The science says it is. So what is that, right? Comment in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. Is people seeing things? Is men's hearts failing them looking after the things come up on the earth? Is there something changing their consciousness? Is there something to do with the atom level or molecular level when you start taking stuff that affects your pineal gland? More than likely. More than likely. So, what does this all mean? What does this all mean? Did y'all see me push that button? I almost teleported right here on the screen. Almost quantum field into the existence of another level. I have other levels. I don't know why I'm calling it levels, but this is the fallout shelter of visual disturbancers. I had to have fun today. And I had to change the studio setup because I wanted something new, something clean. Comment below if you like it, because I'm enjoying it. It makes me feel comfortable. And it just kind of, well, it's different, unique, and I wanted something different. So we're going to show this one clip from a Danny Jones, respect to Danny Jones. I don't know if I can show it, but we're going to show the lady that he had on just yesterday. I think they dropped it. This lady right here. This woman is very well known to talk about the Anunnaki, etc. Heather Lynn. I'm not going to play the video because I want to be respectful to the YouTuber. But she claimed the Anunnaki were breeding with humans. They had eugenics, and it was very selective. Wink, wink. If you can see my eyeballs, bloodlines, right? Bloodlines, folks. And they're not even hiding it anymore. They're saying they're doing DNA samples. Moving on. So Heather Lynn, she likes archaeology. She likes a whole different flow of understanding. She likes to look at alternate history, kind of like me. I don't take everything at face value and say that's completely gospel in the sense of archaeology. Okay? So she talks about this. This is what this clip says. The Anunnaki were not humans. Maybe the ultra-terrestrials? Who were genetically engineered humans as slaves? That's what they're claiming. The Anunnaki were not aliens, but who genetically engineered us as slaves to gold mine. I mean, I can just put my hands up like this and get a little riled up on this comment, these topics, because if there is different documented stories of different bloodlines, different heritage, different, let's just say, nationalities and different places that are tied back to the Tower of Babel. And to this day, the cultures of these societies and civilizations still reside within the people that reside at these locations. So I don't know. You know, is it one of those things with the sons of God made with the daughters of men? They chose wives. Genesis 6 verse 4. I was always told that it didn't exist. They were just carnivalistic type of people. Their offspring was. Hello. You don't want to have a fee-fi-fo fun. I smell the blood, man. And it'd be like this. You do this right here, you're going to bounce off that tall thing. You're going to be in bad shape. Bad shape. So anyways, Heather goes on and says in this clip of Dan Jones, the Anunnaki were not aliens who genetically engineered, the Anunnaki were not aliens. They genetically engineered humans as slaves for gold mining. They were advanced humans. Ultra-terrestrials, known as the Shining Ones. Lucifer was a shining one. Take a break, slow down. That terminology is kind of navigating to my study, what I've researched. They were advanced humans, known as the Shining Ones from a breakaway civilization that survived a cataclysm. Nunahi. You've all heard me talk about the Nunahi. This cataclysm that brought knowledge to early Mesopotamia. The Shamash. You know, we talked about that recently. The giant. There's a tablet with these men. Hello, ancient Shining One giant. Here's this 8-pointed star, the Ophanum. You know, we talked about that on the channel. But this ancient knowledge being passed down from Mesopotamia. Dr. Lynn also told Dan Jones how these taller strangers arrived after the Younger Dryas disaster. Whoa, disconnection. How about that? Disconnect. Coffee break. The Denisovians. We talked about that on the channel, not too much in depth, but Andrew Collins does a really good job with his book talking about the Denisovians, and Mr. Graham Hancock does that too. He talks about these things with the Denisovians. That's all tied to the Younger Dryas event. And if y'all remember, on the channel we had the one and the only Aaron Junkins. He went to Göbekli Tepe. I even mentioned the Younger Dryas event, and he knows his stuff. So we did an interview with, that was a long time ago. Aaron, if you're watching, man, I'd like to have you back on, man. Talk about archaeology and throw some redneck terminology in the mix. Well, on my end, because you a cool dude from Texas. See you next time, Andrew Collins. I'd like to have him on, but Aaron Junkins. I hope you get back on the show, man. I hope you're doing well. So, Shining Ones. I remember this. Just listen, Shining Ones. I remember the Knights of the Templar, the Knights. Talk about these Shining Ones come and they replicated it. Oh my goodness, folks. This just drives me crazy. Humans would literally take armor so they could replicate and try to re-engineer so they could have dominance. And go and tilt and tear and plunger and tear down everything with these bending of knives. The Shiny One technology. So Heather goes on to speak about this. It's interesting. I actually am going to look at some of her books because I think she's nailing some things pretty hard when it comes to legitimacy of what she knows. I think she's hitting some pretty key factors about how this reality actually is. So these Shining Ones come after the Younger Dryas disaster, and they have this ancient knowledge from Mesopotamia. And some people, she said, have said that this is because they mastered metallurgy already. They have mastered metallurgy. Wink, wink. Back to Mount Hermon. The Shining Ones, the shining adornments, or advanced metalwork, stood out to the locals. The early people often painted red with oracle or some type of, well, this is scary. Really scary what she just said. They painted it red and shorter in stature. These early people often painted red and shorter in stature. Like there's just, I don't know, that's what it says. Encountering these beings was distinct features. Colonizing followed. And she makes some quotes here. Hey, you, why don't you work for me? A priest call quickly emerged as meditators between these mediators. Meditators. Can I get a meditator? Almost had me one of these moments.
Baby pie.
Gosh. Welcome to the channel, folks. We're not able to make pronunciation correctly, but we can talk about them shiny ones. So I cracked myself up, folks. I'm sorry. You should see it live stream when I'm by myself. We have a lot of, I was told by an old man one time, if you talk to yourself, you have a very high IQ. I never said I had one, but he thought I had one. Anyways, so I was thinking the priest class quickly emerges as the mediators between the advanced arrivals and this subjunction population. And then Lynn stresses the way that not extraterrestrial intervention with spacecraft and test tubes, but it was a earthly encounter between the nomadic survivors carrying superior knowledge in agriculture, metallurgy, in the local groups, and the world reset by a flood and a climate upheaval. And the Shining Ones taught skills and helped spark civilization, yet imposed heresy and controlled in the process. And the account draws from the original. Gotta get a little copy here. The original Sumerian text and challenges the popular narrative of the Anunnaki as off-world creators of a slave species. And it keeps the core mystery intact. Where exactly did these advanced humans originate, and did they gain their edge after the Great Cataclysm? Well, I'm just going to throw it out here just for some visual disturbance bloopers. I love some people's commentary here, but hey, I can keep up. Great Cataclysm, Younger Dryas. Break LA civilization, 1940s, 1950s, but it was already established. Admiral Byrd is not just telling you a porky and a fluff. He's not. He's a very credible individual back then. Did the little, his advanced, let's just say, adventure back then. A one-man show, just like you're seeing right here. And showing up. And these shiny ones and these disc-like creatures, Admiral Byrd, we know who you are. It's time to land. We're going to take you to the master that lives underneath the earth. Or Gotha. Right. Into the interdimensional realm. Crazy times. And I will just say this. A lot of people hate me for this. But it makes you wonder. Begotten. The only begotten. And then I'm going to throw those words out, a little wordplay. Something happened 2,000 plus years ago on a mountain. Just throwing it out there. God does weird things. And God does things that just straight up in your face. And we're putting the pieces together. And here on the channel, breakaway civilization colonized, let's just say, building shop up. And there's something out there in the other continents, folks. Mystery floods, Younger Dryas event, doing a little shake and looking up at the sky and looking and saying, well, the Greeks was wrong. They said it back in the Greek days, they said, oh, the sky was green, and then all of a sudden it changed blue. Well, something is not what it has been told. We are talking about now that there's the octopus people are going to take over, and after the humans are going to be extinct. And then all of a sudden, you got this mess. And this is what I'm saying about the Denisovians and what Mrs. Heather Lynn was talking about. I say she's really got it going on. Now, I want y'all to read this before we conclude. I went an hour and 44 minutes, and I've got to go, maybe. Well, I don't. I don't have to go. I don't. Well, maybe I do. No, I don't. Because it's been so long, I've been excited about it, and I feel pretty decent today to stay on a longer show with you guys and all you visual disturbancers and getting to hear me talk about the shiny ones and all the nonsense. Well, as you can see on the screen here, this looks like a depiction of the cavemen, the cave dwellers. Well, they look like the Denisovians, in my opinion. Well, according to this article here, they talk about 1 million years ago, humans almost went extinct, and no one knows why. Nearly 930,000 years ago, the ancestors of modern humans faced a catastrophic shift. I wonder if it's that final shift of disclosure. Nearly wiped out a lineage from the earth. A groundbreaking study, genetic study. It's always that. Published in Science reveals that ancient ancestral population plummeted from an estimated 100,000 individuals to a merely 1,280. Breeding survivors. Breeding. Remember, the people that's up at the head of the power trip, they're saying that there's breeding programs and people's being forced to be bred. Well, it makes you think of the sons of God made with the daughters of men, took wives they chose. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Genesis 6, verse 4, once again. 1,280 breeding survivors. So this extreme revolutionary bottleneck lasted for an astonishing 117,000, during which our ancestors lost up to 99% of their population, devastating amount of genetic diversity. Using a sophisticated computer method called FITCO to analyze the genome data of over 3,000 living humans, researchers reconstruct these ancient struggle for survivor. My tongue got stuck, man. Teeth problems. Insert teeth. I'm sorry. The population finally began to rebound after 813,000 years ago, likely aided with warning climates, evolutionary survival strategies, and early control of fire, while some scientists cautioned that more genomatic evidence is needed to confirm the extinct scale of a population crash with implications are profound long before the rise of agriculture, cities, or modern civilization. Entire future of humanity depended on a fragile, resistant group over thousands of individuals with genetic echoes still define every single person alive today. Let me just tell you a story. Aaron Junkins talked about, when I had him on the show, talked about Göbekli Tepe. That's a very strange place to me. There's many archaeology sites where they say, this is where the archaeologists appeared out of nowhere. So I'm over here with my gear-turning redneck hillbilly attitude. I'm hearing and seeing the same trajectory we are on today. Get the flock to be advanced to a certain level. Let them hate each other. Let them cause fear, judgment, mockery, making fun of one another. And if the humans can't work together, how can we give them new knowledge because they haven't respected the knowledge that we gave them? And then you're asking, well, Brian, what side you on? Well, I'm on the side of where God, right? But these other things that came down and doing a little manipulation and kind of playing a little bit two sides of the fence and teeter-totting back and forth, and there is a bunch of wide, vast categories, factions of factions of factions, and something is not adding up. Something definitely is not adding up in the camp. And people can scoff and write you off and say that you're not credible. Well, go look all this stuff up, the Younger Dryas event, and you can even tie this to the days of Noah and Noah's flood. You can tie that back directly to that. And this is the one thing I want to throw in here, and we're not done yet, so hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. And I hope you guys like the new format, because I sure do. Hit that like button and help me get this information out so we can have a little fun along the way and invite some new visual disturbancers. And they live amongst us, like I said earlier, when I pushed the button and teleported to another level to the underground bunker in the digital realm. But this gentleman right here, Jason Reyes Georgiana, I can't pronounce his name properly, but he claims in an interview, I think, with Lou Elizondo, all those guys, he's claiming that not only do they live amongst us, but we live in their world. So I have to take the breaks and break a little bit here. There was some terminology from a man that came down, like the begotten. Jesus, a lot of people hate that I even speak his name on this channel, but hey, I love the name. Let me just throw this out here. He says we are not of this world. We're just passing through. Makes you wonder. Makes you just wonder. Just saying. Where is the soul? How old is the soul? Anyways, so they walk among us, according to Jason, but we live in their world. The shining ones, right? It's not the other way around, he claims. and this is the term, this is the word, this next sentence is what gets me, because in my studies, when we did ancient ancestry, we went back to antediluvian realm. I love doing those types of programs. They're coming back to the channel, I promise you that. Digging into the giant narrative, digging into archaeology. We're going to take it. We're going to go. We're going to go. It's going to take me some time to do them, and we're going to go back to the days of Noah and do some really cool programs once again. 5,000 years, the last 5,000 years, he claims, is an exception compared to millions of years of occultic human history, including on Mars, wherein the Nordics just overtly ran everything as little g gods. Instead of engaging in covert control, they control will resume. That's what it says. Their overt control will resume by 2050. I keep hearing this wrestling with the grays and all this stuff, and all I'm hearing is the same narrative with the Book of Enoch. And we are sitting here with the big bullseye on all of us. And this is what I'll say to you all, for very important, if you hear anything during this whole program of almost 2 hours, it is crucial to protect your soul. And I mean that by like what you feed into your soul and what you discern. Don't just jump on everything that you hear, because it will lead to a problem. It can cause other spiritual things and problems along the way. And then one day you think that you're a little g god, just like these individuals are claiming, and you'll claim to know everything, and you'll think that any human that comes around you, they're peasants. Well, that's not what we're about here on Visual Disturbance Channel. This channel is all walks of life, and spread love and mercy and grace and empathetic heart, and be a good human, because I'm telling you right now, these watchers of old, they're watching and collecting data, and you can guarantee it. And at the end of the day, if you're a bad human and do bad things, guess what? There's not beautiful related to that. There's going to be judgment come to you. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. Not getting on the preaching mode. But this stuff hits to me. So the Nordics are going to return. They're going to be returning power in 2050. That's a long time ago. That's a long time to go from there. But on the other side of the world, the state of emergency that we will enter within the next few years, and he was talking about a Promethean spectre revolution prevails as the comparative rebellion of the Atlantis, which ultimately failed. Here we go again. I was making earlier the staff of the scepter of Poseidon, right? I was kind of making quirky jokes about the Aquaman and all this stuff. So Atlantis failed, and this Proto-Indo-European is an euphemism for rabbling for Atlantis, that their language, in other words, the Aryan race, the ancient Aryans, of what they call the Aryana, what scholars emphasize called the Old Persian language today, was actually just called Aryan. And then he goes down all these different rabbit trails. We need to stop. He says that we stupid India. He says some other stuff. Don't want to throw anything out there. I got to watch what I say. Designer that adopted about a 1945. So here's all this tie-in. Once again, it's kind of weird that all this stuff is tied in with the 40s and 50s with the breakaway civilization. So something's going on here. Even this gentleman's talking about it. And this is, this is just a segment, one of his shows, but this is what he said. This is what he looks like here at the top. That's the, well, you can't see his face. Okay. But anyways, that's probably for the better. But anyways, so he goes on talking about this Aryan race that's ancient, in a civilization core of something to tie back to the European. Well, Europe, we got to watch what I say. For most of history, and greater Aryan, and an actually disclosure cannot take place until we start having an honest conversation about the Aryan race in relation to the Atlantean ancestors, the Nordic-looking gods, right? And he says other terms, spinelessly sticking your head in the sand is just inviting the freight train to run over you, and replenishing an agency you have to do something about what's coming soon. It goes on about the academia realm and everything, but the term Prometheus keeps throwing into this mix, tied in with the Nordics resurfacing as the dominant control. So, hey, whoa, hang on a minute. So we have, once again, a rebellion, just like the fallen angels, just like the biblical narrative. We can talk about the Anunnaki. There's always tie-in to rebellion that come from the shining ones, the star people. There are all these people coming from, and they give gifts, but there's a trade-off. we need something in return for ancient technology. That's where we're at. So this upload, download, anything goes, as above, so below. And water is in the mix. Water? Oh boy. Oh goodness. To run these facilities in the centers, they have to have a large amounts of water. Well, where does the water come from? And you can't even, in some states, collect it. It's illegal. Just throwing out some ideas and some thought-provoking inserts for the program here. So 5,000 years ago, supposedly there was some type of disruption. We tied this in to the Atlanta Bogard, the astronomy site. I mean, my goodness. And there's ties into Antarctica saying something happened in 5,000 years ago that changed from tropical climate to ice. Welcome to the visual disturbance world, where alternate history resides and exists, and we've been told a lot of fluff because somebody is hiding something. Something wants us to be put in a different realm of understanding. Just like the days of old and the days of Noah, men's hearts will fail them looking after things come upon the earth, and I don't think anybody's ready. Yes, I think they walk among us. It's astounding of the knowledge that has been passed to and fro. We cannot deny that this is not a real thing. Cannot deny it. Push the button, Brian. Push the button. Push the button. And here we are. They walk among us. Stargate, Bigfoot, alien creature trying to crawl and try to touch my head in the background. They live and we sleep. And this is why I do these programs on the Visual Disturbance. I want to thank you all so very much for being part of the channel. And thank you all for putting up with me and the gaps in live feeds, because I've been going through some infirmities. And like I said earlier, I thank you guys so very much for just the support and love. Words cannot describe how I feel about this, because you guys have watched me for years, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. On the other side of eternity, if I get to keep the memories, I'll never forget that I had such cool listeners and respectful people out there that wanted to have a visual disturbance moment with a little analytical conversation. And that's what it's about here on the channel. They walk among us while we sleeping, and we got to guard our hearts and guard our minds, because let's teleport back to the first level of the ancient digitalized bunker in a digitalized visual disturbance world where everything's artificial and share. I'm talking about this underground bunker, folks. I wish I had one like this. I wish I had an underground facility like this. You don't have to worry about the shiny ones coming down with their laser beams. Put a blue roof over it, put it underneath the ground, just like this blue cup. This coffee cup is completely preserved until ancient antiquity, when the archaeologist picks it up and gets a swab out and says, this ancient DNA was from Brian of Visual Disturbance. I know I'm just rambling on, but fun times indeed. But like, subscribe, share this thing out. Thank y'all for putting up with me today. It's been a doozy. 2-hour mark, here we come. It's been one of the longest live streams I've done in a long time. Thank y'all for the super chats and all the donations. What a blessing it is. And here soon, very soon, I got enough footage to show you guys, and it's going to take a long time to edit it, and a bunch of different places that we're going to go. And I hope you all will enjoy that. And it's going to be tied into some memberships and all that. And it's going to be well worth the amount that is put into it, because I can promise you it's going to be well worth the ticket price, and that's something in the near future, and I'm praying about it. It's going to take me a few months, but it's happening. Had some ups and downs and all around, but we will be back with all that here on the Visual Disturbance channel, because I'm going to have to ask for help from people that love me very dearly, that is close to me, that can help me facilitate this endeavor, because I can't do it alone. But yeah, folks, Visual Disturbance with the new setup. And I hope you'll like this format as much as I did. News is not for everybody. Share this thing out. Subscribe if you get an opportunity. And I'm so glad to see you guys in the chat. Send a thumbs up. And yes, Serpent Mounds. Just want to do a wink, wink, hint, hint. Serpent Mounds, I have the footage. So yeah, wait for that one. Wait for that one to be edited and all that good stuff. I got about a couple hours of footage on that site. Boom, boom. Y'all can't wait for that one. That one's in Ohio. A lot of cool things coming up on the Visual Disturbance side of things. But yeah, God bless you guys too. Keep it fresh, keep it real. Stay away from the Atlantean golden archways. But yeah, next time, folks, next time, Until next time, but subscribe, hit all the links in the description box. Thank you all so very much. It has been a pleasure, and I can't believe I was able to go 2 hours today. So until next time, share this thing out, subscribe. Thank you all so very much once again. I've said that maybe 10, 15, 25 times. I can't say enough on the channel. But much love to you all and much respect to you all. And thank you all for your time, because your time is very valuable to me. And a lot of people don't say that, and I'm going to. I thank you for taking your time out of your day to stick it out with me here on the visual disturbance side of things. Thank you for your attendance, and I hope you enjoyed the hospitality. Welcome to the underground bunker, far beyond the bluegrass state, on the higher up on the level, the surface dwellers. Until next time, visual disturbance, and just in case I don't see you again, good afternoon and good evening and good night, everybody. And let's rock out to some rock music. News is not for everybody. See you on the next one.
Got one that can see.